Let's bring in Eric Mandel. He's with us now, and Eric is the founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network and a senior editor at the Jerusalem Report. Welcome to the program, Eric, on this very historic day. And I'm sure you were listening to President Trump's wide-ranging, very encouraging, uplifting speech about Israel and what lies ahead.
Yes. First of all, my comment is, wow. It reminded me of a congressional State of the Union with the continuous standing ovations. But what made it special is in Congress, only half the Republicans stand. Here in the Knesset, everybody stood up. The president was completely in his element. The element was victory, and he enjoyed every moment. When you looked at who he thanked, a couple of the people that really stood out was the idea of giving Miriam Edelson the credit for the Golan annexation, and also just that he specifically called out Ron Dermer, because to my mind, I saw Ron Dermer as one of the authors of the 20 points. I see this as a Israeli 20-point plan. When he reached out to the Israeli people that they forged one of the great democracies on this tiny piece of land, it could not have been a better healing, to help begin the healing in Israel, to hear an American president say this, and this great tour de force as he went from defeating ISIS to Iran to today's ceasefire. And he directly told the Palestinians that you have to stop. I think the quote was, stop tearing down Israel. And he tied today's ceasefire to the Iran strike, which I thought was incredibly important. He said that before he said to the Iranians, we don't hate the Iranian people, but we want the Iranian regime to make a new deal. And he also said certain things in there about jihadism, which was incredibly important. So what it translates to, the other thing was last night I was being interviewed and I was saying I was disappointed that Bibi was not asked to go to Egypt, but it seems like Bibi was asked to go. I'm not sure that it's a great idea that he didn't go or not, but the fact that he was asked, I think speaks volumes. And so the president was now reaching out saying—
Do you think he should be there, Eric?
You know, I think the offer is 90% that he could be there, using the excuse of Simchat Torah and he wants to be here. Maybe just part of a kabuki dance of manipulating all the things that the Arab country, that there's going to be maybe hopefully pressure on the Arab countries to join in with the Abraham Accords. He made special praise of the 4 countries that never broke off ties from the Abraham Accords. And so I think, initially, if he wasn't invited and he has a good excuse, if you will, or a plausible excuse, I think that's okay. But who is really going to defend Israel's interests more than the Israelis? But I tell you the truth, when you hear what the president said, that there was zero daylight, that Israel is a vital ally, and it was not based upon shared interests. It was based upon values. We always say that a U.S.-Israel relationship is based upon values. I think President Trump really made the point that of the shared values, Israel is this amazing democracy, talked about the 3,000 years. So I think by Bibi not going, but being invited, I think that's okay. And
you're right, Eric. I mean, as we saw from that speech, President Trump is very fond of Israel. He loves Israel. He's the best friend Israel has ever had, as he put it. We can see that when we listen to him. But you have reported on this yourself, haven't you, recently? That the numbers in the polling in the United States tell a worrying picture. That even Republicans are becoming more and more unfavorable towards Israel because they've seen what's going on in the war. A lot of misinformation that's been spread by Qatari money and Chinese algorithms, but that is getting through to American eyes. So do you think that President Trump's speech today can do anything to change that?
Well, I hope so. There's a lot of damage control. And the damage control is, as you point out, there is the isolationist, or I'll say anti-Semitic part of the far right, the Tucker Carlsons and Candace Owens. that you have, unfortunately, seeping into the mainstream Democrats, where they can only see, criticism. Everything is couched in criticism, even when there is this great ceasefire. We think about the deafening silence of the left in the United States. And when the ceasefire came, they were saying ceasefire, ceasefire. And there's a ceasefire plan, and they were quiet because it was never about a ceasefire. It was about demonizing Israel. But the other thing you touched on is incredibly important. Qatari money. So is there going to be a change in how Qatar acts going forward? I think that is one of the most important things. There are reports, and some people are saying that Al Jazeera maybe has toned down a little bit its anti-American rhetoric. I don't think anti-Israel rhetoric yet. But now there is an Al-Thani who's the head of Al Jazeera. So there's no plausible deniability, which there never was. So I think that it's incredibly important. But that money coming into the United States through the Qatari Foundation, which has been causing misinformation and manipulation against Israel and trying to hurt the U.S.-Israel relationship. This is where hopefully President Trump and his team can lean on the Qataris, saying, it's time for you to be on our side a little bit. We gave you the security guarantee. We're giving you a place in the United States to train your Air Force. Now you got to do some more for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, great to talk to you as always. Thank you very much indeed, Eric Mandel.
Congratulations to the people of Israel today. Let's celebrate today. We'll worry about the problems tomorrow.
Absolutely. A good message to end on, Eric. Thank you so much.